I guess I can talk real loud. I can use my middle linebacker voice. Is that on now? Thank you very much. Oh, sorry. All right. Look, we're here today in Allan's behalf to say a few words about Allan Mills. I want to welcome everybody today to the celebration of Allan Mills' life. He was a friend of mine for 5 years, and we had some special times together. And we're going to have a few people come up and speak this morning on about Allan. And the first up, I'd like to call his sister, Gail. Would come up, please, and thank you, and enjoy.
Oh, thanks. As you all know, I'm not a public speaker, so just kind of bear with me here. This was this guy's job to do. Again, I'd like to thank you all for coming today to celebrate Allan's life. He was many things. He was brother, uncle, nephew, cousin, friend, and co-worker, and he thought the world of all of us. I'm just going to talk briefly about him as my big brother. We didn't always agree on some things, but I knew he was always there for me and protected me all of his life. I can remember coming home from grade school, just a little one, and was given a hard time by one of the girls. My friend ran home, got Allan, and the next thing I knew, he showed up and told me to leave, her to stay. He came home and said, "Everything's okay, don't worry." I was kind of scared there because I was like, what's happened? But she won't bother me anymore. The next day, I saw that she didn't have any broken bones or bruising, so I knew that he had received one of his, quote, intense talking tubes. He was protecting me. He loved talking to people and will most definitely challenge you. He would respect your opinions, but made you stand your ground, and he didn't hold any differences against you. I'm sure we all had those discussions with him at some point in our life. He was, shall I say, a bit of a penny pincher. A great example of this is Pat and I were sitting in his dining room table one night. Allan went into the kitchen. The next thing I know, I saw him with a flashlight in his mouth, checking something in the oven. I asked him, like, "Allan, what the hell are you doing?" He answered, "Checking my food." My response was to tell him, "Turn the light on." He said, "No, don't want to pay the hydro for this. It's okay, flashlight's good enough." We just looked at each other and said, "Okay." This kind of sums up his not wanting to waste money. But when it came to shoes, jackets, artwork, you name it, he went balls to the wall on that one. He was always wanting to learn about a variety of things, and he was always reading as a kid. He would also ask lots of questions in his quest to learn. However, this thirst for knowledge did not translate into kitchen knowledge. Apart from the above example, Allan called me late one night. He was quite concerned, and he asked me, "How do I turn the stove off?" I paused a few seconds and kind of looked at the phone going, my brother is asking me how to turn the stove off. I said, "Just push the button and turn it off." He then said, "But how do I know it's off?" Again, I'm looking at the phone going like, "Allan, really?" And said, "Because it'll start to cool down." He responded by saying, "Oh, okay." And he hung up on me. Couldn't believe we just had this amusing conversation. I just started to laugh. And every time we think of this, we were laughing all the time. Now, I just want to talk to Heather and Kevin. You already know this, but I just want to reiterate. He thought the world of both of you and was very interested in what you were doing as you were growing up. As you started in your careers, he was thrilled that you were doing something that you seemed to enjoy doing and were doing very well. Kevin, he loved to hear the exploits about the restaurant you were in and knew you had found something you were doing well and were enjoying it. Heather, he was excited when you decided to get your nursing degree and that you loved doing what you were doing. And as I've already mentioned to you, one of the last conversations we had with Allan, we told him about your next plans, what your next plans were. He paused for a few seconds and said, you know, she will succeed. And he truly meant it. He meant that about both of you. He also thought that Jackson and Jade were awesome kids and was looking forward to the future health for them. But he knew that they were both destined for great things. The last thing I want to say is that I will always miss Allan, but I know that he is no longer suffering, which is something he would not want. I am comforted in the knowledge that he will always be looking over us. We will love you forever, Allan.
Thank you, Gail. Those were very nice pastimes to share about our friend Allan. And I got referred to Allan Mills. I was trying to recover some money, and I called this lawyer down the street from the neighborhood I lived in, and he referred me to Allan Mills. He said, this is a guy you need to go get this looked after. So I gave Allan Mills a call. And my first meeting was up in his office, and one of the first things I saw when I walked in was a beautiful big elephant on his wall. And I thought, I like this guy already. It's a pavement. And it was a beautiful poster, and I used to just sit in his office and look. And looking out Allan's window was always an adventure, because he was right on John Street and overlooked the clinic that looked after some people that suffer from addiction. So it was always, I always thought it was like Mardi Gras up there. I'm from the South, so that's all it was like. It was a circus, but it was entertaining, and it was always fun to see the cops come down on their horses down that street too. So a lot of good memories in the short time I knew Allan Mills. I know there's a lot of people here that would like to, and I'd like to give an open mic if anyone had some stories or some things they could share, or we can wait until we get back to the home. This is the first time I've ever emceed a funeral. I didn't think it would be for my friend Allan Mills. He was a guy that was very disciplined. He was into the martial arts, and he was. I came into his life and kind of directed him a little bit on diet and nutrition, since I'm a vegetarian. We had some good conversations about that and some good debate, because Allan Mills, if he was anything, he researched everything that he would discuss. That was one thing that I really found admirable about Allan. He was a bookworm, and he was a searcher of knowledge and truth, and we talked a lot about a lot of things, and one of the things was living, and one of the things, of course, that we all are going to have to do, and none of us escape alive, is to pass away, and that we aren't the bodies, we're a spirit soul. The body's just here for a temporary time, and the soul is eternal, and I know Allan's eternal, and I know he's with us, or he's somewhere, but his body's no longer here with us. And for the short time I knew Allan Mills, he was a true friend. If you were Allan Mills' friend, you were Allan Mills' friend. And he was a loyal guy, and he really plied his trade, especially in the law field. He really wanted justice, and he was a real advocate for free speech. He thought that everybody should be heard and listened to. So God bless Allan Mills, and thank you for coming. If anyone else would like to come up and say a few words.
Sure.
Okay, Paul. Allan's friend Paul. Thank
Yes.
you. Come on up.
Thank you. Yes, I've met some of you here, and I'm Paul Bertie. I've been a friend of Al's for 52 years. We first met in the summer of 1969 by way of my cousin Curtis. So one summer's day, Curtis and Al dropped into my house in the east end of Hamilton to show me Kurt's new Ranchero, which he purchased and was using as a vehicle for his new in-ground pool business. Allan was giving him a hand for the summer in construction, I think just about heading off to university in the fall. He got out of the car, I shook my hand and immediately said, "Hi, nice to meet you." I was immediately taken by his welcome and felt like part of the gang. I was also taken by his appearance. He had the Mod Squad glasses on, sunglasses, muscle shirt, cut-off blue jeans, and work boots. Being a 14-year-old teeny bopper, his look really impressed me. And off they went. So being that this meeting took place in 1969, or this introduction to Al, we were well within the time of the counterculture. And I was just being introduced to it through my cousin Kurt and his friends who were a lot older than me. Curtis always included me in anything that was going on. And his other friends like Al didn't seem to mind me tagging on. So Monday, I got a call from Kurt and he told me Al was going to have a purple Jesus party. And I said, "What the heck is that?" He said, "Well, you'll find out this weekend." So I'll tell you, some of the key elements of the party was, well, the key element was a homemade concoction. It contained several ingredients, including food-grade pure alcohol, many different kinds of fruit juices, but the main one was Welch's grape juice, and a tub. So not your typical Canadian tire tub, the bathtub. So, people started arriving and were very eager to get into that tub full of purple pleasure. They helped themselves to it. Before you knew it, it was full-on Woodstock. Music blaring, people slurring their words, dancing like no one was watching, and other illicit activities which shall remain nameless. Yes. It was quite a shindig. The only thing that puzzled me is I never figured how Al got the purple stain out of his parents' tub. Obviously, he must have been away for the weekend at the cottage, and I said, boy, he's going to have to work really hard to get that out.
Lots of bleach.
Lots of bleach, Gail says. On the professional side, Al had been my trusted advisor and lawyer and friend for as long as he had practiced law. He always pointed me in the right direction, no matter the issue, whether it was work-related, business-related, relationship-related. He was always there when I needed him with the right stuff. One such time was in the early 1980s. My father and I had opened an IGA store in Ancaster. There was still competition there, but in that market, but the area was growing rapidly. So a year went by and we needed to improve our sales. We weren't quite hitting our objectives. So we came up with a bold plan to open up on Sunday. Well, if you know anything, back in the 80s, you weren't allowed to open Sunday if you were of a particular size. If you were beyond 25 or 3,000 square feet, you couldn't open. So what we did was we measured the outside perimeter of our store and we came within the guidelines. So on Saturday nights, we blocked all the aisles leading down to all the dry groceries and various things like that. And people came in and we were open 10 to 5 on Sunday. Long story short, we were immediately served by the city of Hamilton and a trial date was set up. Step in, Allan Mills to the rescue. Through Al's vigorous defense of us, we won the trial, and Al even got some press courtesy of the Hamilton Spectator at the time. And as we all know, several years later, the whole retail landscape opened up. I think Al maybe had something to do with that. It's hard to sum up someone like Al because he had so many different things, he meant so many different things to so many different people. I have a very heavy heart at the loss of a 52-year friendship, and I loved him dearly and will never forget him.
A few more great pastimes, Sherry. Thank you very much. Yeah, I would be very, very happy. All the kind words you said about him, and these are true testimonies to the kind of gentleman and the kind of guy Allan Mills was and will always be with us. And I want to thank everybody today, for coming this morning. The next part of the program, am I leaving anyone else? Does anyone else come up? Would like to say a few words? Okay. So the next part of the celebration and recognizing Allan Mills is we're going to go to the cemetery, which is just down the road here. And then we're going to have a very brief, way briefer than what I've done today, this morning. Little ceremony there, and then back to Allan's home, where we're going to have some refreshments. And everyone's invited that's here. So, thank you, and on to phase 2. Okay? Thank you very much.
Sure. Oh, it was nice getting to know you a little better. We'll be in touch more.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, last time I seen you was at one of those big banquets. I don't
Nice to
know.
meet you, Ben. We used to see you flying around the backfield.
Well, that's what I was gonna take off. Yeah.
They were waiting for lots of other stories, but,
Oh, yeah, sit right with this guy.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. You're a good friend. I said, you know, a lot of Alan's friends, because I got all his contacts. Yeah,